You've booked your first cruise. Congratulations. Now you're completely overwhelmed and have absolutely no idea what you actually just signed up for. Don't worry, because everything you're about to hear in the next few minutes is going to save you from making the kind of rookie mistakes that ruin what should honestly be one of the best vacations of your life. I'm going to walk you through everything, from the moment you step on that ship to the moment you reluctantly drag your luggage back off of it. And I'm going to be completely honest with you, because there's a lot of advice floating around online that sounds helpful, but is actually going to cost you money, stress you out, or leave you standing in a giant crowd wondering why everyone else seems to know exactly where they're going. Let's start with something most people never think about until it's too late. Packing. Now before you roll your eyes and think you already know how to pack, hear me out, because packing for a cruise is genuinely different from packing for any other kind of trip. Your cabin is small. I mean really small, like smaller than you are probably imagining right now. The closet situation is manageable, but you are going to want to be strategic. Bring a over-the-door organizer or a hanging shoe rack. This sounds ridiculous until you're on day 2 and your bathroom counter is completely buried under toiletries and you can't find anything. Magnetic hooks are also a game changer because most cruise ship walls are magnetic and suddenly you have storage everywhere. Pack less than you think you need. You will not wear everything you bring. This is a universal law of cruising. Now let's talk about something that genuinely shocks first-time cruisers when they see their final bill. The drink packages. Most cruise lines price these packages at a point that sounds steep, but when you actually sit down and do the math, if you're someone who enjoys a few cocktails or specialty coffees throughout the day, the math usually works in your favor. Here's the important thing though. If 2 people are sharing a cabin, most cruise lines require both people to purchase the same package. You cannot have one person with the package and one without. Factor this into your budget before you sail, not after, because onboard pricing for individual drinks adds up shockingly fast. Speaking of budgeting, this is the part where I need you to really pay attention. The price you pay when you book your cruise is not the total price of your cruise. I cannot stress this enough. Port fees and taxes get added. Gratuities are often added automatically to your account daily, sometimes $15 to $20 per person per day. Specialty restaurants cost extra. Shore excursions cost extra. Spa treatments cost extra. Wi-Fi costs extra. The base fare is genuinely just the beginning. Go in with your eyes open, build a realistic total budget, and you will have an amazing time. Go in unprepared, and you will spend half the trip feeling anxious about money. Let's shift gears and talk about embarkation day, which is the day you actually board the ship. This day sets the tone for everything. Here is the single best piece of advice for embarkation day. Get there early. Cruise lines give you a check-in window, and people largely ignore it. Show up at your assigned time or even slightly before it opens. The process of checking in, dropping your bags with the porters, getting through security, and finally stepping on board goes so much smoother when the crowds are manageable. By midday, on embarkation day, the lines are brutal. Get there early, get on early, and then go explore your ship while everyone else is still standing in line. And while we are on the subject of the ship itself, take the first couple of hours after boarding to genuinely get your bearings. I know you want to drop your stuff and go straight to the pool bar, and honestly fair enough, but spend 20 minutes walking the ship. Find the main dining room. Find the buffet. Find the theater. Find the elevators and staircases relative to your cabin. Ships are enormous and confusing, and having a basic mental map will save you from being late to things all week because you got lost again on deck 7. Now here is something that trips up so many first-timers. The muster drill. This is the safety briefing that happens before the ship leaves port, and it is mandatory. No exceptions. Most cruise lines have moved to a digital or app-based version of this, where you watch the safety video on your phone and then check in at your muster station, which is a huge improvement over the old days of standing in the heat for an hour. Complete it as soon as you board. Get it out of the way. If you ignore it, crew members will track you down, and it becomes awkward for everyone. Let's talk about sea days, because these are either going to be your favorite part of the cruise or the part where you realize you have no idea how to slow down. Sea days are full days at sea with no port stops. The ship is your world. There is genuinely so much happening on a cruise ship on a sea day that the challenge is not finding things to do, but rather choosing. Shows, trivia, cooking demonstrations, pool games, fitness classes, spa deals that are sometimes exclusively offered on sea days, specialty dining promotions. Pay attention to the daily schedule the night before and have a loose plan, or you will spend the morning standing in the buffet line deciding what to do, and suddenly, it's 3 in the afternoon. Shore excursions deserve their own honest conversation. You have 2 main options: book through the cruise line or book independently. Booking through the cruise line is more expensive, but it comes with one major benefit that is actually worth a lot. If a cruise line excursion runs late, the ship waits for you. If you book independently and your tour runs late, the ship does not wait for you. You will be flying home from a port city you did not plan to stay in. For your first cruise, especially in ports you are unfamiliar with, there is real peace of mind in booking through the ship. As you get more experienced and comfortable, you can start venturing into independent bookings strategically. Let me give you a quick word on dining. Most ships have a main dining room with set dining times, and they also offer flexible dining where you just show up when you want. For first-timers, I genuinely recommend the flexible option, because your days at ports are unpredictable. You might want to stay out later or come back to the ship starving at 4 in the afternoon. Having flexibility means you eat when it works for your day, not when the schedule says you should. Now I want to talk about something nobody puts in cruise tip videos because it is not glamorous. Motion sickness. Even people who have never experienced motion sickness on land can feel the effects of a moving ship, particularly on rougher seas. Bring remedies with you. Over-the-counter options like Dramamine or Meclizine work well for many people. There are also pressure point wristbands that some people swear by. The ship's medical center can help, but it is significantly more expensive than bringing something from home. Even if you think you will be fine, toss something in your bag. You will thank yourself if the weather turns. Finally, let's talk about the last night of your cruise. Pack your bags the night before. Not the morning of. The night before. Your cruise line will give you colored luggage tags, and you place your bags outside your cabin door the night before disembarkation, so they can be moved off the ship overnight. If you sleep in and try to drag everything off yourself in the morning, you will be in a genuinely chaotic situation. Pack the night before, leave out only what you need for the morning, set an alarm, and disembark smoothly. Your first cruise is going to be incredible. Go in prepared, be flexible when things do not go exactly to plan, and let yourself actually enjoy what is honestly one of the most unique vacation experiences available. Now go have the time of your life. Like and subscribe to the channel.